Most people don't think of forests when they think of Paris, but for me, I couldn't live here without them. And when I don't spend enough time in them, I start having crazy thoughts like, I don't know, maybe I should get a new apartment.
Anywhere you go, you belong.
Hi guys. So today I went and I saw a new apartment. Now, I love my current apartment. It has been my home since the first day I arrived in Paris. So over 6 years now, which is crazy to think that I've been here that long. And I really do love it. It's like 35 square meters, which is half the size of the apartment that I lived in Los Angeles, which I thought was totally too small. But this apartment has really been the perfect size for me. And the view is gorgeous. I live right in front of a park, so the view out my window is trees and a church in the distance and the Eiffel Tower over the rooftops. And there are green parrots that live in this park that come and visit. And I have a washer and a dryer, which is remarkable for a Paris apartment. But I have lived here for 6 years, and 2 of those years have been during COVID confinement. And so I had been toying much of last year for many reasons on the idea of moving. And then during my reflections for the new year, I decided, you know what? I'm happy here. I'm content. I'd rather put my money elsewhere than increase the investment in rent. So I had come to this conclusion to stop looking at apartments. However, I had not deleted the alerts that I get. So clearly I was not 100% committed to this decision to just let things go. And a few days ago, an alert popped up that was in this neighborhood, which I really love, had a little balcony, which is the one thing that this apartment is lacking, and seemed to be very full of light and had wood floors. And I was like, oh, this, and was affordable. And I thought, wow, maybe this is a sign. And at the same time, they were cutting trees down in the park behind me, which was very upsetting, is very upsetting. So I thought, okay, maybe this combination is a sign and maybe I should look for this. So I sent, a query out and I got a response. And so I went and I visited it. I kind of knew going into this meeting that I wasn't going to put an offer in, but I just wanted to see it. And I wanted to be open to the idea of being really so impressed by it, so moved by it, that I would take a risk and make the change. It was a nice apartment, but it wasn't better than the apartment I have. The reason I'm sharing this story is because I think it's really valuable to visit those things that you have in your head would be better options than what you have, to come back and really appreciate with even more certitude what you have. So if you're looking at the idea of like, oh, I really wish I had a nicer car, or I really wish I had a nicer apartment, or I really wish I had this brand of clothing, go and test them out. Go to a store, go to that haute couture store and try on something there. Or go to the car dealership and take a test drive for that, fancy car that you think you want. Or go take a tour of an apartment that you think it might be nicer, might have better amenities, might be in a different neighborhood that you're really always wanting to be in, you think, to be able to come back to the world that you have and appreciate it more. To just kind of step out of expectation and yearning for something else that might be better, and come back to realize that the stuff that we have in our world doesn't address our core needs. Our core needs are addressed by us, by our actions, by our beliefs, by our thoughts, by our values, by our connection with people, not with stuff. So anyway, it was a really cool experience for me to go check out this apartment. Everything it had, I already have, other than this little balcony. And the balcony wasn't the balcony I wanted, and the building wasn't the kind of building I want. and I'm in the kind of building I want, and really the only thing that is lacking is a balcony. So I'll hold out for someday, maybe, having a balcony.
And in the meantime, I'm just gonna spend some more time in the forests and in the parks in my neighborhood and take full advantage of what I have. And on that note, I want to share with you a little park that most people don't even know exists. It's called the Park of the Poets. And there are all these rocks that are set about the park that have quotes from famous poets and not so famous poets. And it's just a beautiful place to wander and reflect and feel all educated because suddenly you're reading poetry as you wander past these rocks. And then you get into this section that is even more of the park with the bamboo and flowers, and then this incredible tree that looks dead, but when you get up close, you realize it's still totally alive, even though at the moment in the winter all the leaves are gone. But it's still there, and it's just so resilient. Like everything else in nature, it gives me hope. And then there are these arboretums, and in the winter it's perfect because you can, well, under normal circumstances when we're not in confinement with COVID, you can go in to these beautiful glass houses, these greenhouses, and get a taste of all the warm vegetation that you could get in more tropical locations. Isn't it just delightful? I mean, really, how can you go wrong living in a place like this? It's so beautiful. And when I remember that, I stop getting antsy and I stop needing to look for something to consume or some big change to make in my life. So it's a good decision to stay in my apartment, don't you think? On that note, let's go back and take advantage of the central heating in that apartment. See you there.
Anyway, I hope you have a lovely, lovely day. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and click the notification bells if you are so moved to do so. Leave a comment if you have had any experience with this kind of testing out of an environment that you think you might want, only to discover that what you have is really fulfilling. Gros bisous, and I'll see you later. À plus.
Anywhere you go, anywhere you go.